Hello and welcome once again to What's Out There, the paranormal podcast from Out There Paranormal. And speaking for you on this episode, we have myself, Nigel.
And myself, Juliet. Again.
We're back.
Finally back.
Oh my God.
We say this every time. Oh my God, it's been ages.
It's been out. The last episode we managed to get together was way back in April, unfortunately.
I know.
And
we keep turning up like a bad penny, don't we, really?
Life's been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it, Jules?
Just putting it bluntly, yes,
Exactly.
it has.
Exactly. But here we are.
We're here.
Back again. With an exciting episode for you.
I know all kinds of weird, wonderful, slippery things in this one. Oh, God, Annie's off.
You started it.
How long does it take? How long does it take before the smut sets into Nigel's brain?
What do you expect when you come up with a phrase like slippery thing?
Well,
Let's be
I don't know
honest
what
here.
you were thinking of.
Oh my God. Well, let's get back to the serious nature of where we should be.
Okay, so here we go. Are you sitting comfortably? Because I know I am. As the children head back to school and the vibrant colours of summer gracefully transition into the warm hues of autumn, we welcome longer, cosy evenings filled with excitement. This time of year is a thrilling season for paranormal enthusiasts as the enchanting world of the spooky comes alive. We are especially excited to announce the return of What's Out There with a brand new episode that promises to captivate your imagination. Now, you may remember that we recently shared a fascinating story on our Substack about an intriguing creature spotted in the shimmering waters off Eccles Beach in Norfolk. The eerie imagery and captivating mystery of this tale has inspired us to dig a little deeper. So, why not join us in exploring more thrilling accounts of mysterious sea creatures and uncovering the secrets that lie beneath the waves? Let's embark on this exciting adventure together as we unravel the mesmerising mysteries of the deep.
Stories of sea monsters steeped in history and folklore echo across the ages, from the menacing Scylla and Charybdis in the Odyssey to the legendary Kraken, terrorising seafarers in the frigid waters of the Norwegian Sea, and the biblical Leviathan, a sea monster mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, described as a fearsome creature with multiple heads and the ability to breathe fire. The Leviathan is a symbol of chaos and the untamed forces of nature.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? I don't have multiple heads and the ability to breathe fire.
No, I saw the word chaos and untamed nature and I just initially thought of you.
Right, back to the script, Nige. Oh, he's coughing again.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate.
Come on, get on with
Anyway, these mysterious creatures have long captivated our imagination. They emerge from the depths to attack and sink ships, their presence immortalised on ancient maps with the ominous one word warning: monsters.
Right, well, back to the three-headed, fire-breathing person. These denizens of the deep, diverse and enigmatic, fall into various categories. The best reported sightings take the form of tentacled beasts, cephalopods. Why are you laughing now?
Well, you looked at me. You went tentacled and you looked at me. I don't know why.
Well, thought I'd get my revenge there, Nige.
Well, I have been known to be a bit of an octopus sometimes.
Oh, well, is that right? Not with me, fortunately.
God. Oh, carry on, Jules, please.
Okay, let's discuss the Kraken. So, mentioned earlier, the Kraken is a prime example of this type. Now, the Kraken is a legendary monster from Scandinavian folklore, often depicted as a gigantic octopus or squid, capable of dragging ships to their watery graves. And then there are the little sea serpents.
Sea serpents.
Now, this broad category includes creatures like the colossal...
Jormungandr.
I was going to say, how the heck do you pronounce that?
Jormungandr.
Jormungandr, from the Norse mythology, so large that it encircles the world, and the numerous sightings in the Atlantic of what became known as the North American sea serpent.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, there was a whole spate in the 19th century, mostly, where there was a number of sightings in the Atlantic of this sea serpent.
Well, they're still being seen today.
They are indeed, yes. And Jormungandr is what's known as the world serpent as well. It's often sort of seen going around the world biting its tail.
Oh, yes.
And you see it a lot in
I've seen that.
In Viking.
I didn't know that was its name.
Yeah. Sort of Viking mythology.
Right.
Anyway, the creature we sighted off
We sighted? We sighted? What were you? Were you sighting off serpents? No. What is going on? I don't think so.
I've got myself in a bugger's mud again.
Let's start that one again.
The creature sighted off Eccles, which we mentioned earlier, falls into the latter category. It's actually a sea serpent.
So in a letter to the local newspaper dated August the 6th, 1936, Herbert Whittard, a respected figure who had served as mayor in 1927, wrote about a sighting that he, Labour MP Charles Ammon, and Archibald Gosling, a British trade unionist and Labour politician, had on Eccles-on-Sea beach. Their observation of an unusual form travelling swiftly about 1 mile from the shore adds a credible account to the history of sea monster sightings.
He added, looking at it from a distance, it appeared to be a form of huge serpent, about 30 or 40 feet in length and skimming the surface of the water in a worm-like movement, but travelling at a terrific speed, certainly not less than 1 mile a minute. I am positive, said Mr. Woodard, that what we saw was a sea serpent.
Ooh, now, in the 1930s, that was a popular time for sea serpent sightings in East Anglia, with numerous credible accounts adding to the intrigue. We have found another tale from across the border in Suffolk that we would like to share with you.
It's October 1938. Ernest Watson and William Harrington had been trawling for sole 4 miles east of Southwold. As they returned to harbour, both were startled by a massive animal with a long neck that appeared around 40 yards away from them.
So Mr. Watson recounted his tale in the Daily Mirror on the 22nd of October 1938, and he stated,
I have never seen anything like it in my life, and I've been nearly around the world.
Nearly around the world.
Nearly around the world, no less. It kept its neck bent and showed its camel-like back, which stuck out of the water so far that we could see right under it. And it was dark grey in colour. I've heard all about people seeing such things as the Loch Ness Monster, and I've laughed. But this was no laughing matter. My word, it was going. You ought to have seen it, and then you would have realised what a fright it could give anybody. I am only glad it did not come any nearer our boat. It seemed to be towering right above the top of us as it was. I shouldn't like to think that we were any nearer to it than we were in such a small boat. Former Southwold Town Councillor Mr. Harrington added that he had been at sea for years, and no creature he'd seen before accounted for what he and Mr. Watson had witnessed.
He said, This really was something very strange, and I can tell you I was mightily glad when I saw it going away from us instead of coming towards us. The wash alone would have swamped us. I shouldn't like to think we were ever coming across it again, and I shouldn't like to think of it coming up out of the water anywhere near our mates than it did to us. But all the same for that, I should just like some of the other men to see it. Yes, I confess, I was really frightened. The creature was described as dark grey, travelling at around 30 knots, and they estimated it was approximately 50 to 60 feet long. The pair went on to craft an exact model of what they had seen, which, for some years, was exhibited at the Southwold Museum, but has sadly since disappeared.
But it seems they were not alone in sighting this mysterious creature, as a day later in the Sunday Referee of October the 23rd, another account was given by the Reverend R.N. Pike, vicar of Southwold, who said that as he stood outside his Seaview home with his wife and the Reverend W.N. Welch of the Southwold Mission for Seamen.
Oh, here we go! Here we go! Seaman! Yeah, hardy, har!
I'm so pathetic.
Captain Pugwash next!
Oh my God.
Dear, oh dear.
I'm sorry. They had spotted an enormous creature twice the length of the town's legendary pier. In the article, Reverend Pike said, "I could not see its head. Mr. Welch knows all about strange fish of the sea, and he declared he'd never seen anything like it in all of his life."
The creature was dark, but not black, and there were several parts of it sticking out of the water. Stop it. We watched it go out of sight, and I quite believe the fishermen thought it was travelling at over 40 miles an hour, because it appeared to be going faster than the quickest motorboat that I've ever seen. There is no doubt that the two fishermen gave a perfectly fair account. We said nothing at first about our experience, but now I'm glad that somebody else has seen this monster.
2 separate sightings, and no fewer than 5 witnesses all describing a similar creature. These accounts brought many monster tourists to the town of Southwold, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the enigmatic creature, and it appears one visitor managed to do precisely that. Miss A.M. Jenkins, in a private letter, described her own experience with the serpent.
I saw the sea monster of Southwold one autumn day in 1938, she wrote in a private letter. It was very fine, and the sea very calm, with a slight sea mist. It was travelling south, about 100 yards from me. I saw several humps. Stop it! And watched the creature until it was out of sight.
I really should have sort of looked at this before I started letting you read it, because...
So nice.
My infantile humour, oh God. So, anyway, our creature remains quiet until 1985, when Nigel House, in a private letter, recounts the curious beast he saw in the water further down the coast at Aldborough. I saw on the horizon a black-coloured moving shape, said Mr. House. There were, I remember, very few other boats or ships about. The object, it occurred to me at the time, was really quite large, and unlike a boat, it disappeared and reappeared. It was like the Loch Ness Monster, coiling up out of the water, then moving forward along the far distant horizon. All very curious indeed. Fascinating story, isn't it?
I know.
I mean, you think to yourself, well, is it, isn't it? What did they see? I mean, you can pick holes in some of them.
Well, it depends. You quite often, when you see currents out at sea, they can very much look like a sea monster.
Yeah, that's the thing, rolling waves and stuff like that.
Different sea currents and things.
The other thing we get off the coast here, and I know it's going to sound really silly, but you get lots of seals.
Yeah.
And if you only sort of see one or there's a couple of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
or debris, sea debris, all kinds of logs, all kinds of different things.
One at Eccles on Sea especially made me think, and I wrote it in the Substack article, because they said it was like a mile offshore. So they say now, it was so big and it was going so fast, but a mile offshore, that's a long way out.
It is.
You know, for them to sort of think, there's something there. And like you said, if it was just waves rolling, then it could easily have been that.
I mean, I've been on a cruise ship, out at sea, and when you're there and you're in the middle of the ocean and you're looking out at sea, it's very easy to think that you're seeing things. Your eyes do actually play tricks on you when you're looking out to sea on a ship. And
it is a lot of where these sort of sightings come from well. I was reading an article about how being at sea can affect you. long journeys, just like staring at nothing, and all of a sudden something appears, and you're just like, oh, what's that? Especially when you look back to the earlier stories that we're talking about, when we're talking about things like the Kraken and the Charybdis and the Scylla, they're all sort of things they wouldn't have been used to.
Well, I've actually seen, I was with my mum, I was talking about the ship and we were on holiday, and we had a balcony on the ship and we were sitting out, and it was late at night, just sitting out, hadn't had any alcohol, anything like that, we were just looking out to sea, and it was a lovely warm evening, and we saw, and I still don't know what it is, we saw something, it looked like two lights coming up from the sea.
Ooh.
And then they were kind of appearing and hovering, and there was something beneath them.
Yeah.
And I was, and then your imagination plays tricks on you, and I was thinking, oh my God, it's something with big glowing eyes and a neck underneath it. And my mum saw it too, because I was looking at it thinking, what is that? And then my mum went, Julia, have you seen over there? Look at that. So we were both recognising there was something weird in the water.
It, yeah.
We had I still don't know what it was. I still don't know what it was. It was, I don't know, off Italian or Greek waters, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was.
Wasn't in the Straits of Messina, was it, between Sicily and Italy?
Why?
Because that's where the Scylla is. And Charybdis.
Oh, gosh. Maybe.
Maybe you saw it. You're lucky that it didn't reach out
remember.
and grab you off the ship.
Well, yeah, that would have pleased everybody, I think. But, it was strange that we both saw this thing and we just did not know what it was.
No.
Didn't know what it was, this
You've
thing.
not told me this one. This is a new one. No. You should tell me these exciting things.
Exciting things.
Well,
Nothing
it is
exciting happens in my life, my God.
But you saw a sea monster.
Yes.
Possibly.
I know.
Yeah. But it's like you're on a boat and you've just sailed out from England, okay, and you've never been out in the open sea, and all of a sudden you're out in the middle of nowhere and a humpback whale surfaces.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell are you going to... Oh, what the hell is that? Oh,
well, exactly.
It's a monster.
If people are not used to going to sea, they're going to see...
Yeah, they're going to see things like that.
I've been very lucky. I've been out before a few times, but I've never seen anything like that.
No.
But people that, if you're not used to the ocean or the waters, you will look at it. Because, if you think about it, the life in the ocean is so completely different to anything we've got on land.
Yeah.
Completely different. So it'd be very easy for people to say about something.
And you're always sort of saying that it's so much of it's not been explored.
Gosh, we know more about the moon than we do our oceans.
Yeah. And we do not know
science,
what
baby.
is down there.
Yeah.
And as the deeper they go, the more things that they find, and you just suddenly think, what the hell is that? When they found sort of life in places they didn't think would be life around of volcanic vents and things, there shouldn't be any life.
And the Marinara Trench and things like that, where they've found very big sea creatures down there.
You just don't know what is down there.
Well, we don't yet.
Very creepy.
You really don't.
We were talking about going back in time and looking at sort of sightings. One of the most famous sea serpent sightings took place on the evening of August the 6th, 1848. This comes from a Royal Navy frigate, HMS Daedalus, which was sailing between the Cape of Good Hope and St Helena, some 300 miles from the coast of present-day Namibia, when an unusual animal come within 100 yards and was seen by the captain, Peter McHugh, and his first lieutenant, spit that one out, Edgar Drummond, the master, William Barrett, and several crew members. In early October, the Daedalus was back in Plymouth, and it wasn't long before the story of the strange encounter appeared in the Times and the Illustrated London News.
Now, these reports triggered a lively debate among zoologists, and a few weeks later, the Zoologist Journal published eyewitness accounts, along with supporting narratives of other sea monsters and arguments from skeptics about what might have been mistaken for a sea monster. One account was from Lieutenant Drummond. In the 4 to 6 watch at about 5 p.m, we observed a most remarkable fish on our lee quarter, crossing the stem in a southwesterly direction. The appearance of its head, which, with the back fin, was the only portion of the animal visible, was long, painted and flattened at the top, perhaps 10 feet in length, the upper jaw projecting considerably. The fin was perhaps 20 feet in the rear of the head, and visible occasionally. The captain also asserted that he saw the tail, or another fin, about the same distance behind it. The upper part of the head and shoulders appeared dark brown, and beneath the under jaw a brownish white. Now it pursued a steady, undeviating course, keeping its head horizontal with the surface of the water and in rather a raised position, disappearing occasionally beneath a wave for a very brief interval and not apparently for purposes of respiration. It was going at the rate of perhaps from 12 to 14 miles an hour, and when nearest was perhaps 100 yards distant. In fact, it gave one quite the idea of a large snake or eel. No one on the ship has ever seen anything similar, so it is at least extraordinary. It was visible to the naked eye for 5 minutes, and with a glass for perhaps 15 more. The weather was dark and squally at the time, with some sea running.
Captain McHugh related the following account. In latitude 24 degrees 44 degrees south and longitude 9 degrees 22 degrees east, the weather dark and cloudy, wind fresh from the northwest with an ocean swell from the southwest. The ship on the port tack heading northeast by north. Something very unusual was seen by Mr. Sartoris, the midshipman, rapidly approaching from the ship behind the beam. Our attention being called to the object, it was discovered to be an enormous serpent, with head and shoulders kept about 4 feet constantly above the surface of the sea. And as nearly as we could approximate by comparing it with the length of what our main top sail yard would show in the water, there was at least 60 foot of the animal a fleur d'eau in the water, no portion of which was to our perception used in propelling it through the water, either by vertical or horizontal undulation. It passed rapidly, but so close under our lee quarter that had been a man of my acquaintance, I should have easily recognised his features with the naked eye. It did not, either in approaching the ship or after it had been passing our wake, deviate in the slightest degree from its course to the southwest, which it held on the pace of about 12 to 15 miles per hour, approximately on the same determined purpose. The diameter of the serpent was about 15 or 16 inches behind the head, which was, without any doubt, that of a snake. It was never during the 20 minutes that it had continued in sight of our glasses once below the surface of the water. Its colour, a dark brown, with yellowish white about the throat. It had no fins, but something like the mane of a horse, or rather a bunch of seaweed, washed about its back. McHugh later added that the animal had a flat head.
So 2 very compelling reports that may or may not confirm that something extraordinary was present in the vicinity of HMS Daedalus. You see, at the time, there was no explanation for the mysterious creature, but in The Skeptical Inquirer, Volume 39, Number 5, Gary J. Galbraith takes another look at the episode and comes to the conclusion that what was sighted was nothing more than a rorqual whale feeding at the surface with its mouth open.
Now, I don't know about that. He says rorqual whale. I mean, I find an image. There's some images that went with the thing that looks like it, but the way they're describing it, they're saying its head is clearly out of the water. It looks like the head of a snake. It's got a neck. I mean, to me, that sounds more like what the Loch Ness Monster sounds like. It sounds more like what you would call a plesiosaur, or a
plesiosaur,
a dinosaur. You know, the old sort of plesiosaurus.
Yeah.
Or, like they said, a snake-like creature.
Or a giant sturgeon.
Yeah, well, possibly, yes. You know, it's the thing. I mean...
Because they can look snake-like from different...
They can, yeah. Not only that, you get that weird thing, the oarfish.
Yes.
Which is a great big long fish for all intents and purposes. Yeah. So, I mean...
And there are giant serpents in the water. There are giant snakes.
This is from like a naval vessel with experienced crew on it.
Yeah.
You would think they would have seen sites like this before, and I'm not sure what where the rorqual whale's feeding grounds is, but this is off the coast of Africa, Would they be that far south?
I'm not sure if they were.
Yeah, it's one of the something you have to actually look and
I'm not sure if they were.
Yeah, it's one of the something you have to actually look and see where they're
I'm
sort
not
of at, because
sure.
you normally sight them further up
Yeah.
in more colder Atlantic waters.
yeah,
So would be that
absolutely.
far south or not?
No.
Of course, we know that lots of these sightings can be just misidentification of something familiar as
Or
a
maybe.
whale.
Maybe a giant eel.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this is it. It could be any number of things. I mean, okay, the article is quite compelling, and I will include a link for it in the notes for this episode, so people can go and have a look at it if they want to, because it is quite good. And there are pictures from the Daedalus inquiry, because the actual crew drew pictures of what they saw.
You see, I love things like that.
And then he's got pictures of what he says is a Rorqual whale, and to me they don't look the same.
No.
I have to say they do look different. So there we go. Sea serpents.
Yeah.
But it's not all about sea serpents.
No, it
because,
isn't. There's more to come, folks.
Yeah. There are, however, other sea monster encounters which appear even stranger. And next tale we have is a perfect example of this.
Now, this is a good one, guys. So, get yourself a drink, settle down, sit comfortably, because this is a good one coming up. Okay, guys, so have you got yourself a drink? Yep, good job. Here we go. In 1749, a strange sea monster encounter took place in Orford, a town in Suffolk. A group of fishermen were offshore, casting their nets to catch mackerel. And while pulling in their catch, they discovered an unusual creature among the fish.
Wondering about their strange find, the fishermen brought the creature ashore and attempted to subdue it with a boat hook. However, when they opened the net to inspect it, the creature suddenly sprang to life, using wing-like appendages to fly more than 50 yards, 150 feet, away from them. During this chaotic moment, the fisherman who had first grabbed the creature was attacked and suffered severe injuries, losing several fingers as a result. To make matters worse, the injury quickly became infected and he soon succumbed to the effects of the wound, dying shortly afterwards.
Now the creature then fastened on the arm of another fisherman. This attack left the arm desiccated and lacerated to such a point that the muscles shrank and his hand was horribly distorted. The fishermen somehow recaptured the creature and then killed it and dried its carcass so that it could be put on display as a curiosity.
A certain Mr. Lingwood reportedly visited this macabre trophy at an undisclosed location and provided the Suffolk Naturalist Society with a more detailed description of the creature than had been previously available. He described the creature as having a head and tail resembling those of an alligator, with a body covered in impenetrable scales that measured approximately 4 foot in length. However, he noted that the creature was obviously longer before undergoing the process of desiccation.
Now, according to Lingwood, the creature possessed 2 large fins that allowed it to swim and fly. Although the fins were now too dried out to be extended fully, they appeared to be folded like the wings commonly depicted on coats of arms associated with dragons and other mythical creatures. He also mentioned that the creature's legs lacked joints and ended in hooves, resembling those of a donkey. However, the Naturalist Society indicated that these characteristics may have been distorted due to damage from desiccation. Therefore, this aspect of the description may not be entirely accurate. Furthermore, the creature was reported to have 5 rows of very white and sharp teeth in each jaw. A bizarre creature indeed. However, there could be a perfectly valid explanation for this strange creature. So let us introduce you to Jenny Hanover.
The Jenny Hanover was a mummified and artificially shaped carcass of a ray or skate, crafted and sold as a curiosity that resembled a mythical creature such as a devil or a dragon. These 16th century sea monsters served as a testament to human imagination and were popular with sailors and collectors. Could our intrepid fishermen have concocted a story to go with their Jenny Hanover? and then toured around charging a small fee to view the sea dragon and hear the terrible tale of its capture.
I'm pretty sure that's probably the case.
Yeah, that's interesting because remember back to when we did the mermaids episode?
Yeah.
And we had the Fiji mermaid, which was the thing that was made together out of a monkey and a fish.
I've seen one.
Yeah.
There's one in the Science Museum in London.
Ah!
I saw it the other day.
Did you took a picture of it, didn't you?
I did.
You did, because I remember seeing it, because you popped it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, there's one there.
So it's very similar. It's annoying because I've seen pictures of this Jenny Hanover thing as well, so it may have to like pop something on Substack and put a picture of it up so you can go and have a look at it, like we did with our sort of look and listen episodes that we've done in the past. So it's a weird looking thing, I have to say. It's very, very, very strange indeed. Now, we do love to hunt down a weird tale to finish with, and fortunately for you, we've managed to find one such story. Off the coast of Stranraer in southwest Scotland, and 104 metres underwater, Scottish Power was working on the underwater power cable called the Western Link when their sonar picked up the outline of what appeared to be a sunken German U-boat.
So, the sonar images show the 100-year-old vessel largely intact, and attempts to identify the wreck have led experts to conclude that it may be that of UB-85, a submarine that, according to folklore, was attacked by a sea monster while prowling Scotland's coastline towards the end of World War I.
Official reports from the time tell how UB-85 was caught on the surface during the day of April the 30th, 1918, and sunk by a British patrol boat, the HMS Coreopsis. The German submarine crew surrendered without resistance to the surprise of their British counterparts, and upon interrogation, Captain Kraken, the U-boat commander, told a most unusual tale. He swore that his submarine was incapable of diving due to the damage sustained during attack by a beast from the deep.
Now, the U-boat was stationary on the surface at night, recharging its batteries, when a strange beast rose out of the waves and attacked his craft. Kraken described a beast with large eyes set in a horny sort of skull. It had a small head, but with teeth that could be seen glistening in the moonlight. The animal was so large that it is claimed it forced the U-boat to list greatly to starboard as it tried to climb on board. It then proceeded to launch a vicious attack on the forward gun, biting large chunks out of it.
Every man on watch began firing a sidearm at the beast. Kraken is believed to have said, telling how the battle continued until the animal dropped back into the sea. In the struggle, though, the forward deck plating had been damaged and the sub could no longer submerge. That is why you were able to catch us on the surface, the captain is said to have concluded.
So, Captain Kraken's sea monster attack story isn't the only one by far, but the records were sealed after the completion of the war. People involved with British intelligence wanted to share their experiences at sea, but couldn't possibly tell.
Interesting.
Right.
The usual records, but I'm afraid we're going to seal them. And
Yeah,
you
but
can't
why
look at
though?
them.
Why?
Yeah,
That's so annoying.
Yeah, we'd love to know more about this.
Do you think it was some kind of robot machine or something, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it could well have been some kind of secret weapon that the British
Well, that's what I
had.
was
mean,
thinking.
it
They
just-
were maybe
yeah.
experimenting, or
Yeah.
maybe they did experiments on sea creatures and various sound technology made them do weird, bizarre things. Because they were working on
I was
sound
going to say, if they were
weapons.
I mean,
Weren't
if they sort of fired something up, again, if it's, I don't think it's the coast of Scotland, it could be a whale that's then driven it so mad it's jumped onto the submarine.
Well, they were experimenting, weren't they? The US Navy and things like that were experimenting with sonar and sound weapons.
And
during the war.
dolphins.
And dolphins.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, the noises, even though we couldn't hear them, were causing marine life to become angry, aggravated. Maybe they will attack as a result.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There we go, folks. A new conspiracy theory for you all. Love it, don't you? Gary Campbell, keeper of the official sightings register of the Loch Ness Monster, said it is entirely feasible that some large sea creature disabled the submarine. The World War I report from the captain of the British ship HMS Hillary a year earlier makes it clear that seafarers at the time were well aware of large sea monsters that could be harmful to their ships. So there's another report there already that's probably sealed up that something's happened.
Why are they hiding them away?
I don't know.
This is the thing that interests me. Why would they want to hide them away?
Yeah,
That's the thing. Because if it's just an animal, then why?
Yeah.
So there's got to be more to it, right?
Something more to it than that, yeah.
Okay. History has shown that there have been consistent reports of large monsters, not just in lakes and lochs like Loch Ness, but out in open waters as well. For many years, the giant squid was known as the fearsome Kraken, and given the size of the oceans, it wouldn't be a surprise if many large species were still to be discovered. The area of sea where the attack took place has a history of sea monster sightings. They have ranged from the north coast of Wales to Liverpool Bay. What the German captain said could well be true.
Then again, it could just as easily be a fantastical tale concocted by Captain Craig to cover up the fact that he was caught napping by the British and forced to scuttle his ship.
Busted!
Yeah,
there
you
we
see.
go.
Shit. They caught me out.
Exactly.
I'll say it was a sea monster.
That would get.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But then again, don't know. Could be.
Maybe he was drinking and then he was,
Yeah.
out cold because he'd been drinking, probably.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's an interesting one because you can read into it. It could well be that him sort of saying it's because of that, but then again, it may well be that they've experienced something really, really weird.
Well, there's been some very strange tales coming out of the oceans. And recently, like I said earlier, from the Marinara Trench, there's been various weird sightings and, things in sharks disappearing and great whites plummeting rapidly to
God, they've seen things that are like, where they've got a creature that's quite a big thing, so a huge great chunk bitten out of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've really just sort of touched on the edges of this. There's so many stories. I mean, I've sort of gone through and done a bit of research and picked a few up.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of local ones because I thought it'd be nice to sort of include something from my area. But the list of sightings are huge, and there are so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I even read somewhere that there were cases even off East Anglia of creatures, seals being bitten in half by things, with a very large bite.
Oh, God.
And, they're claiming we don't have great white sharks off the coast, although some have supposedly been seen.
But we are getting more weird stuff coming.
Well, the oceans are warming up.
Yeah, there, because I was showing, I think it was off Cornwall, and I was watching on the news, they had tuna.
Yeah.
Massive, bloody great bluefin tuna.
They do. They've got whales, beautiful whales.
Not from this area at all.
Yeah.
The last story, actually, the Captain Craig and the U-boat one, made me think of a classic film.
Yeah.
That's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I love that film. That was one of my favourites as a kid.
Yeah. When you get the Nautilus in the end is actually then finally destroyed by what is a giant octopus. I think it's meant to be the Kraken, isn't it? But that's sort of crushed by that. And in that book, actually, in the Jules Verne book, there's lots of mention of them coming across fantastic creatures when they're down sort of below the waves on their journey in the Nautilus. So.
I mean, you look at ancient seafaring maps and you see these giant sea creatures all sort of drawn and predicted on the maps and things like that. I mean, did they create these things to keep people out of the waters?
I don't know.
To frighten
them
other
from going
seafarers
there.
off. From their beautiful oceans to stop them invading. Who knows?
I mean, if you've gone down there and you're circumnavigating the world and it's places you've never been before,
and you've seen different animals you've never seen before.
Yeah, you've got to then get this thing where you draw what you think you've seen.
Yeah.
There's some classic pictures of animals that they've encountered for the first time, and I think is it Jura rhinoceros.
Yeah.
And it looks really, really odd. I saw some when I was looking through pictures for the Jenny Hanover earlier on, there was pictures of what people thought giraffes looked like, and the weirdest looking things.
It's funny,
so
isn't
because you've not experienced that stuff.
Well, it's things like in the oceans, narwhals and things like that,
Yeah.
with their unicorn horn.
Yeah.
And,
Is it some kind of weird sea unicorn?
It would be, I don't know what people would think of that, seeing that in the ocean if they've never seen anything like that before. Yeah. So you can understand where these stories have all come from, really, I think.
Yeah, you can. Like I said, it's very easy to misidentify something
that
completely
being
normal.
said, we don't know what lies beneath.
This is the thing. It is the very
and
thing of
that fascinates me.
There are so many of these where you can say, yes, it was just like we said earlier on with the Daedalus episode and him saying it was a whale. But then again, listening to the description, it doesn't sound like a whale. And they're experienced naval officers who you don't think are going to make up a story like that.
No.
The fishermen with the Jenny Hanover off the coast of Southwold, yes, that could well be, just a made-up story. They got the sea dragon and it attacked them and all this kind of stuff. But the other ones,
you think with experienced seamen they would know, wouldn't you?
They would know what they were doing.
You would think they would know.
And then why are the Navy covering up First World War encounters?
So that's really weird. I don't understand why they do that.
And the same thing, again, going back on a strange loop, we talked in one of our previous episodes about Foo Fighters from World War II as well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And there's lots of reports of those which were never sort of revealed, that only came out a few years back because they were kept in files as well.
But surely even now, with the official release of certain files having to be released, you would think some of these would be unclassified.
Yeah, you do occasionally. You've got to keep an eye on what they're releasing to see what's coming out. And there are various people that do, or especially conspiracy theorists, will be looking at what files are being released.
Well, at the end of the day, and we all know this, if they don't want things being released, they won't release them, irrespective of what laws are passed.
Exactly, they're not going to let you see them.
Things will disappear, things get deleted. Yeah. Whoops, where did that go?
I've no idea.
Yeah,
yes.
So, but I mean, there's very strange things. I mean, go back to UFOs and things coming out of the ocean. That's another one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when you said about your sighting of the two lights.
Yeah, I did wonder.
Is that,
but it was like, it was really weird because it was like there was something dark and shadowy underneath the lights. So they looked like two glowing eyes. That's what it looked like to me.
So it could be something
dark underneath.
Lights from the ship maybe reflecting off the surface of the eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Fascinating.
But it was moving.
Right.
And it was kind of moving along with the ship. And I was trying to think to myself, is this some kind of optical illusion that I am experiencing? And I was trying to rationalise what it could be. But looking out at that water in the darkness, even on a very large ship, you feel incredibly alone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was, I was snorkeling it was Key Largo in the Florida Keys. I remember years ago this was. And I came face to face with a barracuda. Oh. I was terrified with this thing.
They've got an awful lot of teeth, those things.
I was so frightened. And, experienced scuba divers and things like that will laugh at this, but I was absolutely terrified. Yeah. And this fish, because I'm used to fish swimming away, and this thing was just hovering in the water, staring directly at me with its big mouth and its big teeth. And to be perfectly honest, somebody that sees barracudas regularly laughed at me because apparently the one I saw was just a baby. So God knows if the mother was hanging around nearby. It would have been a brown bikini moment, I think, seriously. But what terrified me more than anything was even with this little fish looking straight at me with these very big teeth, I was terrified because I thought if this thing goes for me, I'm not going to be able to get out of it.
No, it's going to, because they're bloody fast as well.
Yeah.
They're incredibly fast
And
fish.
there was me with all my jewellery on and bling bling and my rings and my earrings and necklaces because apparently they like to go for flashing things in the water. Nobody told me about this, folks. So there was me pretty much open prey in the sea for anything like that. And it's terrifying. Something that small and I felt that useless in the water. So I just don't know. Coming face to face with something huge and terrifying, my God, it must be really frightening.
God, yeah, terrifying. Yeah. Completely.
Just to be like that. But yeah, it suddenly makes you realise when you're in the sea and you're in this big open space, you're the one, as a human being, you feel the alien.
Yeah.
You feel completely alien and not the other way around.
You're going to be the prey.
Yeah. And that's it. You feel.
Yeah.
You know. It's
Scary
scary
stuff, folks.
It really is. And as for people that go late night scuba diving in abysses and dark caverns, folks, if you're listening and you do this, my God, I don't know how you do it. I think you're amazing, because it would terrify me.
Yeah. What makes me even more scared is the guys that get in these bloody tiny little submarines and go right down. There's that classic one that dived on the Titanic that imploded on itself because of the pressure. I mean,
But somebody's building another one, aren't they?
They are.
That's insane.
They're nuts.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, but God, I certainly wouldn't want to do that.
I mean, the only thing, thankfully, for those poor people that are involved in that is they say it was instant.
That's quick. Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, there we go. We're pontificating.
Yes, on
at the end of the episode.
Note.
Yes, it's time for us to disappear. I really hope you enjoyed our comeback. We are working on lots and lots of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
With the spooky season coming up, we are hoping to get out there, back on the road again, with lots of things. So there's going to be more podcast episodes. We have a couple of investigation vids we're working on.
And we're going to be doing a live.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
On Halloween.
Either on Halloween or very near to Halloween.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you've got any ideas, guys, on where you think we should go on Halloween, then drop us a note at...
Oh, God, here we go. Can I remember it after all this time?
Nigel Higgins.
Out there group at iCloud.net is our email address.
There you go.
Or you can find us on social media. We're all over the place.
Yep.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, X,
Instagram,
Blue Sky.
We're everywhere.
We're all over
We're
the
all
shop.
over the place. So if you find us on social media and you want to send us somewhere on Halloween, do send us a quick note, and we might just pop them in a hat and draw them out of a hat and decide where we're going to go.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, God, that sounds terrifying.
Scary stuff.
And we will be getting Mike, who you've probably heard, who has joined us as our UFO expert. We need to get Mike into a podcast because we want to hear what's been going in the wonderful world of flying saucers and what's been happening. He has the latest.
So we'll get him to update. Oh, actually, I'm going to possibly do an episode carrying on from our Came From Outer Space that we did going into the 1950s and the flying saucer scares. So we can get Mike then to sort of jump into that and do an update.
We will do that, yeah.
And we might do another one about other creature sightings because somebody not a million miles away...
Yeah, but don't... Yeah. Well, you guys probably already know.
No, I won't give the game away, but let's just say... Hey, what's new, Pussycat?
Whoa.
Indeed.
And it was a big pussycat. Yeah. And I saw it myself. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, a big cat. We're going to do big cats because I had my own experience.
You've had a personal experience of it recently. So
my goodness me. And it was not a sheep and it was not a pig and it wasn't anything else that anybody had. It wasn't a deer. It was definitely a cat and I was taken aback. But yes, I will tell you all about that.
Yep. So that's it from us for now. We will see you again very soon. So there, all we have to do is to say it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Take care, folks.
Bye.
Bye.